2. Hey folks, how's it going? We've made it to Friday. How's my camera looking? Good focus, looks sharp. You can never tell. Sometimes, because I've got autofocus on it, sometimes goes, today we will focus on the microphone and not your face. But no, it's behaving. It's being good. I suppose that, which light is it? It's the main light, isn't it? Let's turn that down a little bit. There's 100%. Let's knock it down to... It's a bit softer. Yeah, I like that. That works. So for future reference, 30% brightness on the main light, and that I think that does the trick. I like all the colour behind this as well. So I might have to make a preset for my lights to be 30%. But I hope everyone's had a good week so far. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. Been a good week for myself. Can't complain really. And we'll switch over to Unity and see if we can fix it, because there's some broken bits on this. So we need to work out getting them fixed and then get this ready to be put out for another demo. So I'd love for you folks to give it a go. So I've temporarily disabled the saving feature because there was some issues I think around it. So I want to make sure the game is running fine without the saving feature, and then we'll reactivate and test it. Basically got to the point where putting these log statements in so I can actually determine what's happening and when. And I did go through and make this a little bit more efficient, this whole process, because it kind of loops around the fixed update. Not ideal. And what I would like to do is apply some more events into the coding, because my knowledge of events and subscribing to events and like the triggers and stuff is a little bit limited, so I need to learn a bit more about that. And I think I could definitely improve the way that I kind of create games. But this whole thing's a learning experience anyway. It's there for me to kind of discover that actually the way I did this works, but not the best way to achieve something. The annoying thing is that it doesn't error, it just crashes. I'd rather the game sort of threw me an error and go, there's something missing. Good, brilliant, I can work with that. What I can't do is work out what happens when the whole application stops. It's not great really. So just have a quick look, see what is potentially missing. Because we do have smoke effects. There's a smoke holder. So I think that's functioning. So that's got game values in there. So that shouldn't, this kind of stuff shouldn't be missing anything. So I just copied it from from previous. That's all fine. Where the smoke holder's fine. Castle holder is not missing anything. So all the castle bits I'm pretty sure are functioning. The rest of this is pure scenery. Apart from the trees have function, but they're not tied to the end game. I want to redo the trees. I'll redo the trees really. So once I'm happy with the core stuff, I can go back and go, well, maybe use a different model. Although I'm quite happy with the tree model. I just need to change their functionality. And the input needs to be refined. I found a better way of doing the input rather than having it as an object. So I do need to change that again. I think the main issue with what's happening is I've added a third level. It's finding out the constraints around having an additional level that I've not considered. Oh, that was why I sit down to stream. I always get sneezes. So the save path and save name is actually built into this. Yeah, so when it starts up, it grabs those and puts them in there. Now what I could do is keep an eye on that and go, okay, is it definitely doing that? Now, let's just double check all the prefab stuff. Hey Bart, what's up? How's it going? It's good to see you. Hope you had a good week. Medal level 1, 2 and 3. So I have those. Medal container has the 3 levels. That's not an issue. Game progress has 3 levels. So all of that is catering for the 3 levels. Dialogue is only in the intro, so we have to worry about that. What's on the agenda today? The agenda is to fix the game because it cannot be played in its entirety. Mainly because of this level. Completing this level crashes Unity. It doesn't just crash the game, it crashes Unity. when the win condition is met for the game. So I'm going to have to work out why that is. So once we've sorted out, we'll make sure the entire thing works from start to finish. I won't be adding anything else. Just what it is what it is. And then preparing it to be a demo, really. Sort of, which I'll drop into the Discord. So power slider was crashed beforehand. It's something is missing upon completion of the level. So projectiles are consistent. Those projectiles are consistent, although I did have one problem in one of the instances, but I need to come back to that. So this is where I need to change the audio levels for like dropwood and debris break. Sounds like a lot of work, but if it's broke. If it's broke, don't fix it. Yeah. So there's finding out what's stopping it from continuing on, because it'll play level 1 and level 2 can be played, and it will progress. But it's not. I'd expect it to stop, throw up an error, and go, well, something tried to execute, it couldn't. Here's what couldn't execute, and I go, cool, okay, I'll check that out. But it's not. It's just the whole of the editor stops. So to me, that feels like almost like a loop is in there. By the way, I'll be right back. Internet is acting up. Okie dokie. Yeah, it almost feels like it's getting stuck in a loop. So it's not. It could be that the editor isn't crashing. It's just hanging. So the game is hanging because it's getting stuck in a loop, waiting for an event. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that. But then if that was the case, I could hit stop. If it was a loop, I could hit stop, because that wouldn't be holding the editor, it'd just be holding the game. So it can't be a loop. The only thing that immediately springs to mind that I would have to do to solve this would be to go through every single process that happens on completion and follow it through, which feels like it's going to be a bit of a ball ache, because I'm missing something somewhere. I'm certainly missing something. So do I need to map this? Do I need to bring up a map? And actually, because this game was made ad hoc. There was no planning. There's no, this is the process, and then make the process. It's like, well, do something, think of something else, add that thing to that thing, think of something else, add it to that thing, change that thing. Which is not, it's not a great way to make a game. It's certainly good for discovery and making prototypes. So should we should we note what is happening? Let's make a quick flow of things that are happening. So let's throw this over here. Let's add a window in here. Window capture. What do we know about window capture supposed to be? Or vendor preferences. Okay. Okay. So I have my Notepad++ open here. So let's write this out. So we have a win condition. So to get the win condition, it squares equals hit squares count equals hit squares hit. That's the win condition. And hit squares the invisible squares, lots of other buildings. And what happens on the win? On win needs to stop the timer. Timer. We need to stop the timer. It needs to assess time a assess by against assess time against middle, what do you call them? Thresholds. That's where we need to get to times with. Assess time against medal times, I suppose. I'll put some brackets around this. We'll do a little bit of pseudo coding. So assess time against medal times. Find medal awarded. So stop in timer, get the time, assess time against medal times, find medal awarded. Exactly the thing. So find the medal awarded. Display sprite of medal. Display time. So stop the timer, get time, assess time against medal times, find medal awarded. Display sprite of medal awarded. Display time. So that's all about the top of the screen. So let's say that's a UI thing. So for UI, and it's hide controls, show play again slash next level. So I think that's everything the UI is doing. For the world, in the world, make castle collapse. Do a rap. Can't do raps. I need to prepare a rap at some point. Same. Yeah, if I ever rapped, it'd be the most white boy type rap ever. A very bad rapper. Yeah, some people have the vocals to say words really quickly. Others not so much. I did release a new black metal EP today. Well, technically it's not that new, just how the old one's meant to be. Awesome. So you're good at black metal. Unless you want to mix rap and black metal. This thing, make the castle collapse. So when I say make the castle collapse, that's basically Move castle down while shaking. Start smoke effects. It's Bandcamp Friday again. Ooh, okay. 2 months in a row. Nice. I'll have to have a look. I got some stuff on my wish list on Bandcamp. Someone just donated €30 to one of my digital music projects. Nice. That's awesome. Grimpath. I like Grimpath stuff. I like most of the projects. Move castle down. Hide castle. Yeah, no one but this one Mexican likes Under Torture Sky and March. Well, at least someone likes it. Castle. Spawn. Rubble. Stop. Smoke. X. Let's capitalize that. And bracket it. They are objects, I suppose. And capitalize castle. So everything in brackets is a thing. An object, so to speak. So stop smoke effects. I suppose there's sound, isn't there? Play rumble sound. Play rumble sound. Start smoke effect. Hide castle. Spawn rubble. Stop smoke effect. So this is everything that happens upon winning the level. One of these things is making it crash. So have I missed anything out here? So the UI stops the timer, guesses the time, assesses the time against the medal times, finds the medal, displays the sprite of the medal, displays the times, hides the controls, shows the play again next level. And within the world, it makes the castle collapse by moving it down while shaking, plays the rumble sound, starts the smoke effects, hides the castle, spawns the rubble, stops the smoke effects. Probably stops. Stop rumble sound. Just make sure we cover all bases. And I'm back. What you got so far? We've managed to get a list of everything I believe it's doing. Almost pseudo-coding, I suppose. Pseudo-coding can be quite good to understand the process. So I've tried to simplify the entire word believe. Yeah. Now I've left out saving values. But they should be in there somewhere. Be right back, Doc Walker. Okie dokie. I'll see you shortly. Let's see if I can... So again, a lot of these processes happen at the same time. Like stopping the timer, getting the time, assessing the time, finding the medal, displaying the sprite of the medal. So those things happen in one go. Those things happen together. But these things here happen at the same time as these three here. So yes, it goes that one, that as a sequence, and that simultaneously. I don't think there's an issue with that. What I could do is disable some of these processes, provided they're not reliant on each other. Now, if they are reliant on each other, I could recode it so they are not, and they become independent. Obviously, stopping the timer is quite an important thing for the rest of this. Because you could get the time, but the timer will just keep going, and if you want to re-reference the time, it's going to be wrong. So that's quite important to happen. Getting the time is going to be important, because if you don't get the time, you can't then apply it to the rest of it. But hiding controls and showing next play again, that's not depending on anything. That is literally just a trigger that goes off. These things down here, the world, within the world, this is what could be an issue. Like, let's think. So making the castle collapse. So that, I'm pretty sure most of this is independent and basically set on a timer. But I might have to rewrite how this works to guarantee it's not upsetting anything. So when the castle collapses, it's basically got a timer. So it will... Is it a timer? No, it's a value. So because the object is moving down at a rate, at a set rate per frame, when it reaches the required value, it then triggers off other things. So it's approximately halfway. So the height, so halfway down being sunk into the ground, it will then trigger off hide castle and spawn bubble. So start smoke effect is pretty independent. Play rumble sound is pretty independent. But hide castle and spawn rubble is dependent on this. Stop rumble sound, stop smoke effect, I think, is then dependent on when the hide castle and spawn rumble happens, because once this event has happened, these two events can happen. Because there's no point that you can guarantee then once the castle's been hidden and there's rubble been spawned, you no longer need the smoke effects. And you no longer need the rumbling sound because it's finished falling. So maybe I need to investigate how I've coded this and see if there's any holes in the process. But I could, as I say, I could try and disable some of these processes and see if it works bit by bit. So where is the end level? So this code here, script, your maximum 3 levels. That's fine. Could even be this section here. There's a bit of code here. Although that's only when you play the next level. That's not actually So play again. This reloads the current scene. So this is the show UI hide UI. This fixed update here is checking if the level complete condition has been met. So I could, for the sake of argument, kind of stop this from ever being true, and it should never complete the level. If all the errors occur once this equals that, then we're going to have to look at what this value influences. And there's 11 references to this. So I could go through all 11 of these. And the thing is, I did put debug logs against these, as you can, well, you can't see because I've got this window open. Let's pop that. Yeah, so I was referring to this function here, and you can't see on the stream anyway, but clicking this references gives me a little pop-up. Now every single one of these functions has a debug log to tell me the event is happening. I'll actually make this window bigger. Oh yeah, I can drop it down here and you can see it as well on the screen. Yeah, so all these events here are tied to this one Boolean function. And this is the trigger. This entire tiny little Boolean function triggers off everything I wrote here. So all of these should match all of these down here. That's useful, keep it down there. So we have a status. Status level complete. But we also have a status of have we triggered off the castle collapsing. So I could, if I wanted to, I could stop the castle collapsing and then wait for everything else to do a thing. So we could try that. We could, if we put false, so the castle never collapses, but the game can still be completed. So let's go false here. And comment that out. So this means anything tied to the castle collapsing will never happen. So there are 4 instances of checking whether the castle is collapsing. So we have if castle is collapsing. We have is level complete but castle is not collapsing. We have in the smoke if the castle is collapsing but the smoke hasn't started. We have a flag to say whether the smoke is running or not. And then we have if the castle is not collapsing but the smoke is, we want to stop the smoke. So there's probably a better way of doing it. I reckon there certainly is a better way. So we've got a flag to say if the castle is collapsing and a flag to say is the smoke effect running. And if one is flagged but not the other, then either start or stop it, basically. So if both are true, the smoke needs to be running. If only one is true but the other is false, no, the one is true. Yeah, one is true, one is false. Then either it starts or stops, depending which one's which. So by setting this manually to false, the smoke shouldn't happen. So this bit here looks at whether the castle is set to be collapsing. If the flag is true for castles collapsing, then we want to shift the castle object back and forth and sink it into the ground. Stream should be called Breaking Our Brains in Unity. Yeah, I should probably put that at another going live message. So that destroys the building, resets the squares. So I think basically disabling that one Boolean check there should hopefully show, because this one flag here sets off the actual castle collapsing. That will still trigger if that's false. That will then try and set it to true, but then make the sound effect run. Just realised next Friday, week Friday, is going to be the 100th Unity stream. Yes, I'm hoping to have a demo working by then. 100 streams to make a 3-level demo, from me making the most basic feature into something that looks kind of like a game, messing around learning what I can do with physics, and then scrapping all the unnecessary stuff and making it into an actual game. So if you're ever bored, you can go back through the other 98 streams and see from the stream 1 of me not really knowing it at all what I'm doing. So to get from in 100 sessions, because I don't do Unity really unless I'm streaming it. So within 100 sessions, I've gone from not really understanding much of the editor to getting to the point where I could release a simple game. And I could do it quicker if I wasn't streaming in some ways, but then streaming it means I'm not gonna get bored and wander off. It makes me sit here and talk to people. I probably want to stop this from running as well. It's not popped. So if the castle is visible, so it's not popped. I don't know why I named it that. So if the castle's visible, then we say that the castle is still collapsing and play the sound effect. If the castle is not visible, it can no longer be collapsing because it's gone. And we don't need to play the sound effect because it's gone. So I worded that badly and I called it popped because I was thinking, okay, the castle's pops, but especially when you have a pop building. Just goes to show how hard games are to make. Oh yeah, anybody can make a game, and I believe that. Making a game that works without bugs and is entertaining is a completely different thing. I could have put this out like months ago, but I'm not satisfied that it's worth doing so. I could have just put it out and go, oh yeah, there's a game, go play it. There's plenty of games on itch.io of just concepts that, and I'm not beyond doing that. I'm quite happy to throw a concept out there, but this entire project is, I want to learn how to do a thing. I want to learn how to add this feature. So this is kind of like my entire game dev portfolio in one game, I suppose. But it is certainly hard to make something that works as you intend it. I could make it like a little 2D shooter game, like Asteroids. Even Asteroids has a bit of maths to think about because the asteroids have to have a motion to them, possibly a spin, and then the thrust of your spaceship needs to be put in there. And it's not hard. Like, I understand how I'd make asteroids, but only after I've made this, because I understand how the rock moves and how you have objects interacting with each other. So I could make asteroids very easily now. But if I started out working out to do asteroids and then moved on to this would have been easier. But only for the initial stages. So I've not really missed out by skipping making the arcade games. I've just kind of learned that process before moving on straight away. But, right, so I'm confident I've disabled the sound, the castle collapsing, and the smoke now, which means this entire section here should no longer happen. Only the UI. So, moment of truth, I've saved the project. Let's run it. Right, there's no red text. Tell you what, to make life easier, I'm going to run it on level 1. Just to make sure nothing crazy happens. And level 1's quick to actually complete. And that's, I still need to put in those different sounds, but that's not game breaking. The sounds being too loud is not game breaking. And I've corrected the files. I just need to drag them into the right place. That's not a big concern of mine. The game crashing is a concern of mine. So as I complete this level, it should just do the UI element of it all. If I can see that happening, I can then play level 3 and see if the UI element completes without crashing. Now, if I was smart about it, I could have easily put a like a debug feature in that controls each of those elements as a separate module. But that's something I can put into future projects now, knowing it could be an issue I face. So even though I'm facing this issue, and it could be frustrating, it's something I can tick off to say I have dealt with this before. How did I solve it? What would have made my life easier to solve it? And make preparations for similar things. Of course, you can't prepare for everything. There's always going to be something that throws you off. Bro, I'm going to go insane after sending that message. My internet disappeared. Oh no. Oh, that's frustrating. Hopefully it stabilizes for you. I said it'll be up on YouTube afterwards. Okay. So we have the time stopped, we have the gold medal, we have play again, we have next level. And it's still looping around trying to make the castle collapse, because it's now just looping going castle collapsing, and you'll just keep doing that. I'm back, welcome back. I hear the game, but I see, oh, sorry. Same thing at OBS. It's got I do apologise. Guess my shirt. If you guess right in one guess, I donate 66.6. Two guesses, it's 666. If you do not have it in two, too bad on you. Dragon Ball. So we know the game will attempt to make the castle collapse, but because I've disabled it, it will not collapse, but the UI will go through the motions. Now if I can complete level 3, have the UI do its thing, and it not crash, it means anything that was crashing it is based on the physical world. And sometimes I found with coding, and with kind of technology in general, is if something's not working, it's just a painful case of process of elimination. Can you guarantee what it isn't? And eventually what it actually is will make itself apparent. Did you? I guess I was distracted. My guess was Dragon Ball. Was it a Dragon Ball shirt? Is this the first level with 2 separate hitboxes? No, level 2 has two blocks. Can you tell me what it's called? What the project's called? The game called? How's it going? Official logo? VR? Awesome name. This game I've called Revolt Overthrow. It's a little bit clunky, but there's already a game called Overthrow, and Revolt in itself doesn't have the right kind of ring to it. Yes. Yeah, this is my first proper game project that isn't a tutorial. Are you going to be publishing it? Oh, certainly. I'll probably put this game up for free on itch.io. I don't think personally it's good enough to be published to any kind of paid for platforms, especially if it's me messing around trying to make some. I also have a weird game because I post VR content. Nice. What happens in your game? Just subbed. Awesome. Thank you very much for the sub. I do apologise. It doesn't always pop up on my stream. I need to look at the bots. It might pop up in 2 days' time. I bet Caretaker Kamori has no shirt because $6 is too much. But yeah, this game is... Let's see if I can make a game based on a weird concept I had. And it sounds simple enough. It kind of is. It's just throw object at a building. Building has a series of trigger points. Player must hit all trigger points. Once all trigger points have been hit, level complete. And it's in the guise of throwing large rocks at castles of noble people. That's basically what it is. But yeah, so first guess on the shirt was wrong. I am going to say I'm guessing it's going to be a band of some sort. Let's think, what band could it be? Now, of course, I'm going to have to guess based on the shirts you've already posted at some stage. You should make it so you can fight people. I know that might be hard, but I don't care because I've never coded the game on PC, but might try. It's worth a try. As I said earlier, I believe anybody can make a game. The hard part is making it bug-free and entertaining. Yeah, it's because at the moment the player is literally on a stationary sort of pivoting point. So I can rotate this trebuchet at about less than 180, probably like 100 probably 170, 160 degrees. It probably needs to be brought because there's no benefit right now of throwing rocks over this direction, and the level, as you can see, is quite sparse over there. But I would like to add in like Easter eggs for actually throwing rocks in random directions like this. But I would like to have some kind of defensive element to it, so you're not just the aggressor in this. You have to kind of you could take, not to say damage, but something that slows you down, and then you have to be aware of this and tackle it before it stops you. You know what would be funny is to make a montage of throwing rocks with something like Thunderhawk in the background. Oh, Thunderstruck. So yeah, that could be an interest. Although putting that on YouTube will certainly get a strike. But yeah, I want to make I was making a rock golem on Wednesday in Blender, and I wouldn't mind having a rock golem kind of emerge from the side or something and just hear it thundering footsteps coming towards you. You have to like sort of throw 3 rocks at it before it gets to you, and then it will fall down and despawn and come back to your castle endeavor. It will get thunderstruck. I could go as far as making like special rocks. Like I already have. Yeah, I don't know why that projectile menu's wrong. There's a series of different items you can select, but a bug has occurred where I can only have one type, so I need to fix that. But yeah, I would like to. There's things like this level especially, because you've got a wall here. It's having guards, maybe archers or something, stationed on top of this wall, or maybe even on the side here as well. And they kind of fire arrows at you, and if they hit you, it kind of gives you a cooldown until you can fire again. But then because of that, if they're firing arrows too much, the cooldown could get you stuck in a loop. So I'll have to think about the best way of dealing with that. How did you learn how to make a game on Unity? So I already, well, on the subject of bugs, we know it's not the UI because the UI is working. So I can go play again. The next level. That actually takes me back to level 1. So that actually works. So the bugs in the physical world that's having an issue. So we'll have to look at that next. I already have a qualification in C#. So because I already know C# and C# is the main coding language for Unity, I thought, brilliant. I'm already halfway there. Wrong. I understand C# and can write it, but then Unity has its own thing going on. But how I learned Unity, I bought a bundle, a Humble bundle, for a series of like teach yourself game dev stuff. I don't think it was that expensive, probably about 30 quid at most, maybe even less than that. And I just basically watched a few tutorials on there, did the exercises, made some simple, like, here's a simple thing that allows you to click on the balloon and make it pop. Cool, that's a point and click scenario. And then another one which allows you to make a bowling game where you throw a bowling ball down a lane and it knocks the pins over. And that's what inspired me to make this, is that, okay, if I can make a bowling ball go down a lane, hit pins, what else can I do with a ball heading in a direction and hitting something? Cool, I can make this, and I've already bought this pack of castle stuff. So yeah, turn it into this. Be right back, bye. Okie dokie. See you in a bit. Second guess, have not second guessed yet. Archers shooting at you provides pressure, which is generally a good thing in games like yes. I would like it to be fairly chilled experience, as in this game will not have a lose condition. So some games have a lose condition, which is cool and all. That kind of gives you more pressure. Go up, I can't lose, I'm losing health, or I'm running out of time. In this, because the timer counts up, it's only a case of how quick you can complete the level, not if you can complete the level. Each level is completable. You just won't get awarded a gold medal if it takes you too long. So having things like archers can slow you down and stop you getting that gold medal. So I would like to add things that will slow the player down, because it's a time-based reward system. I sell emotes. Hey Lisa, you sell the best emotes. Welcome in. Hope you've had a good Friday. What's going on here? Keyboard's gone dodgy. I got to fix this laptop over the weekend. Second guess for your t-shirt then, Jeffrey. Whitechapel. Now the review is out, I can say this. 2K gifted me 150 euros. The most special edition of the game. Wow. Thank you, thank you. Got my first warning for WWE 2 weeks before actual release. It's gonna be a record. Nice. Still binging Queen of the South. I'm now in the last season. Nice. That's awesome for 2K doing that. Nope. Okay. Judas Priest. Good t-shirt though. I think have I seen Judas Priest? I've seen Judas Priest once. That was pretty cool. They were quite old. Okay, so we've established the UI is not the issue. Honestly, I think they're going soft now. I got warning because one of the tattoos I uploaded to use had the word fucking it. Yeah, that does suck. Yeah, they have a very stringent online standards now. And it's annoying because it kind of stifles your creativity. I've been using online features since PlayStation 3 times and never had problems with fuck. Yeah, they definitely get more and more strict. Got banned for using Hitler swastika bracelet and all online, and I get that. Well, that's fair. I suppose if what's the age rating on WWE? Oh, I saw that joke. I completely missed it, but I got a joke for you. Why did they prefer C# in the medieval times? I don't know. Why did they prefer C# in medieval times? One's for Osama bin Laden, which I get this, I get this, but still, yeah, it depends if his human moderators looking and get, well, I don't think that should be there. So, but then my friend and streamer Captain Cogs, great guy, very good artist. He used to play Forza racing game. And in the Forza games, you can create decals for your cars. And he was great at making custom decals out of shapes. And the most crazy art by just layering all these different shapes together. And you'd think this was uploaded from like a Photoshop application into the game, but no, he used an Xbox controller, moving it around, positioning, reshaping and sizing, and made these great things. But he got so many things banned because he made designs that were kind of on the edge. And yeah, in the end, he stopped making stuff because they were getting too sensitive. 16. So 16 should be able to handle most of that. Because you can't do a lot with C blunt on the battlefield. I like that joke. But yeah, he used to make some amazing. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist of Captain Cog's, some of Captain Cog's designs he made, using just a Forza in-game decal editor. Crazy stuff. Actually, I've got a sample of his artwork just here. If you don't mind me for a moment. Hopefully I don't knock anything. Let's mute my mic. Right. Really like the Forza in-game decal editor. Yeah, let's show you this. There's a full camera. That's my... let's unplug my stream deck. Full camera, right. So it's a little bit bobbled, it's no cushion, but he got one of his artworks screen captured out the game and uploaded to, you know, these merch sites where you can have your own stuff printed onto fabrics and stuff. This cushion, this design was made in Forza. It's one of my favourite designs of his. And you look at that and go, well, surely that wasn't made in a racing game, but it looks sick. Yeah, it's amazing. It was made with Forza's decal editor. And that, I think that the bits around her eyes and stuff, that's individual little shapes he's made. The rose, the leaf, everything is just shapes in the Forza decal. And as soon as he said, oh, I'm making merch of my decals, and awesome, I'm buying a cushion. Unbelievable what you can do with time, yeah. But he used to spend like hours on stream just sat in the Forza decal editor. Go, well, cool, we're doing an art stream today in Forza. And he will sit there with his Xbox. Just... So it wasn't even like on the PC, it was on his Xbox with a controller. The guy's insane. But yeah, I thought that's the coolest bit of art. Hey Dab World, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Unreal over UT? It depends on what concept. Yeah, time and skill. Certainly. Amazing what you can do. Like, you look at a tool like a brush and go, well, a simple paintbrush is not that good. You can't do much with a single paintbrush, but it's how you apply it. And you can make things like that. I say that's an old cushion now. It's a bit bobbled. Yeah, we'll go back to the project in hand. Thanks, brother. How long you been a dev? I've been working on this project casually for probably about a year now. Well, I've been a software dev for several years, but a game dev for only about a year. So translating my general database and Windows application development into more casual and fun things. So as I said earlier, all of this coding I've already got qualifications on. So I'm proficient in C#. What I'm not proficient in is game engines. So, but you know what? Let's go for the easiest game engine for my qualifications. Just told Colt as fuck when the drums stopped joking, he liked it. Nice. That's 3 people. Yay. Like, I suppose you have to be a musician or understand bands of musicians to fully get that. Because yeah, as a listener of music, it's just something you don't tend to pick up, I suppose. Like a lot of listeners of music don't understand the nuances and tropes in music. They just like the music. Make sure not missed any comments. Cool. But yeah, so I fell into using Unity very easily, and it's exercising my knowledge of C#. So with confidence, we can probably open up another function. So if castle is collapsing, so this will bring in the audio. So we wanted to bring in the audio, but by disabling this feature here, we don't even want to play the sounds. I feel it's going to make a lot of noise. So the whole point is that this will only get played once, because this will only return true once per level. And yet, by basically what I've done, if anyone's missed it, this Boolean function here returns true or false depending whether the flag has been set. And by running this function here, it will actually set the flag as true and stop it from running again. But I've told it to always return false temporarily. Unless I hijack the popped check. So if that is not popped, and so it is popped. Now, I don't want to be modifying the code too much, but I need to find out which of these functions is causing me problems. By the way, I took on a new project today. Hopefully be done before Monday. Current idea is where you can define different endpoints and set the response using pure JSON. So basically design a backend server using JSON. Oh, nice. You certainly like to challenge yourself, which is a good thing. The good thing to keep challenging yourself. I one of my kind of holes in my knowledge is kind of server to client communications. I'd love to do a bit more server client communications. It's on my wish list of things I need to learn. Progress is slow but steady. Good to hear. That's what you want. You don't want to make quick progress, but then it be quite haphazardly, and you don't understand why or what. So even though it's taken me nearly 100 streams to get to this stage, I'm making sure I understand each stage before moving on. Like, I could kind of gloss over the problem I'm having here, but I want to understand why I'm having a problem. Not gonna lie, I enjoy networking a lot. Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to learn networking. If I could learn networking, I feel that opens up a whole avenue for software dev and game dev and connecting things. Like all my software dev for work, the only thing like server clients that I end up doing is talking to databases. So there's an SQL database on a separate server. I have a client that sends requests, receives requests. Sends requests, which receives results. So that's a very simple relationship. It's only making calls, but if I can do like REST calls to an API and have two things functioning independently, but then sending messages back and forth, I think that would open up a lot of stuff. The first message between the server and client is so nice to see. I have a special place in my heart for databases. It's not a good part of my heart. I don't blame you. No, my entire kind of career, I suppose, has been based on databases. Like I learned basic IT and application stuff at a college. That, when I say basic, it's like textbook. My first introduction to software, like by today's standards. Like, there's so many complicated things you can do. But that's for my mind. Like, to some people, it'd probably still be like a university degree, just to get to where I am. And the only qualification I've had recently is C#. Everything else has been self-taught. I prefer file-based databases. With my current chat app uses file-based DB, but it has a lot of problems. So like flat file, I think they call it flat file, isn't it? Where it's not relational or anything. It's just data in text form, effectively, and you just kind of read them right to that one file. For my my qualification project, I had to make a flat file database for a record collection. So I had to make a flat file database that stored a record collection and was able to pull back files based on genre and artist and things like that. Koteka Kamori is cheating. You didn't tell him the 30-minute version. Oh, the joke. Didn't realise there was a 30-minute version. Yeah, so shall we hijack this Boolean? So it's not popped. So we can pop the building. I'm not familiar with flat file, but the database library I use is called TinyDB. It stores everything in JSON, but the calls are somewhat similar to MySQL calls, but the way you call them are a bit different. Okay. I suppose, yeah, the way I was kind of learnt it was flat file is just in this instance, like it is a singular JSON file for the whole database. Hijacking a Boolean army. What kind of stream is this? Yeah, I was told like a flat file is just a single text-based file that you hold somewhere in a folder, which I suppose like websites would use a flat file, whereas things that SQL databases have a series of tables, and you'd access and call, and you'd kind of manipulate the data that way. Whereas, yeah, I suppose with JSON, you're just making a call to pull that data in and do something with it. But I'm not too familiar with things like TinyDB and MySQL. But again, I need to learn a bit more about using web databases. Because we did, my workplace did have a web database. I think it was in a flat file again. It wasn't JSON. I can't remember what format it was in, but it saved requests into a file on the web space, and then we had a process of dialing into the web space, pulling that file down, and then importing it into the active sale database to pull in people's requests. And we decided we don't want to allow our customers to do that anymore, and they have to phone up now or send an email. And the guys on the floor have to type them in, which is a bit backwards. Manual syncing, yeah, it is a little bit primitive, but these days it's far more connected to do similar things. Like you can have an active SQL database behind a website now. So if you've got a small database, you don't need to do that. Chat apps backend is 2 files, one for users, one for chat rooms, and each chat room has a text file with every message. Nice and simple. I like that. I tried doing a 2-client type database, like single backend flat file with 2 clients running simultaneously, and it had read-write errors because it was trying to write to the flat file at the same time. So I couldn't. This was when I was at college, so I couldn't work out the flat file scenario, because it was basically just sending stuff back and file. Stale file handle error. I'm not familiar with that phrase, but I'm guessing that's the terminology for it. But yeah, I try to have multiple clients writing back to the same file, which I suppose what a chat program would. If you have 2 chat clients and they're both writing to the chat log, and then reading back, read back the chat log and then writing to the chat log. That's what I learned, or might be confused with something else. But yeah, it'd be something that'd be cool for me to revisit, because that was 25 years ago, to put an age on myself. 25 years ago I tried to make a 2-client single file backend. And yeah, maybe the coding I was using wasn't capable of doing such things. Maybe it held the file open. It wasn't like I think it's a stream, is what they call it, where you just kind of you update the information on a stream and not kind of hold it as in memory and kind of do something with it and then close the file. I think they call it like a stream. You stream the text into it. But there was no functionality, because I was using Turbo Pascal coding language back then. I don't think Turbo Pascal could handle that. Simple solve, actually. You have a asynchronous queue, but then you would need a server that supports async or write-based timer. Okay. Yeah, it would probably need to have the server, so it kind of like it queues it in the server. That makes sense. Pascal is crazy. I loved Pascal. It was very, very easy to learn, but I found it very limiting. Like, there's so many things I wanted to do. I even went to my my tutor. I went, like, what you're teaching us in class is cool and all, but it's too basic. Like, where's the fun stuff? I want to learn how to manipulate time, like grab time values and do things based on time values and trigger points. And he's like, oh, I don't know. Let me find a textbook that will give you the answers. So my tutor went and found a textbook and go, well, I'll photocopy these pages out of textbook. And he gave me some photocopies. And none of the rest of the class was interested. They just kind of turned up, learned what he taught them, and then went off again. Was that what you're teaching me is basic? I don't know how to. I didn't know how to code until I turned up, but I was learning stuff while half asleep, kind of thing. Can we pop the building? So pop castle and to transform castle. So the spot rooms will set pop. I could make a temporary value here. Let's make a temporary value. So let's go up to the top here. We'll call it test. So private Boolean test. And set as a false default. Let's do this because we need to find out. So rather than destroy anything I've already got coded. I'm back. Welcome back, official. We haven't got too far with the code. So I think rather than is not popped, we'll do if not test. It's quite insightful variable name. It is. Let's do it. Oh no, we don't want to do. Basically, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, let's copy this, paste that. We'll comment out the original, and we'll change the condition here. So if not test. Bro, how do you do this, bro? I tried coding a block break. I'm so confused. Yeah, just time. Just try something basic. Try making a thing move. And eventually it scales. Like, all these files on the right hand side here are just tiny little bits of code. Like, do their own thing. Like, the best bit of advice I ever got from my qualification was each function, each bit of code should have a purpose and only do that purpose. Like the brick spawner code here, very simple. It just, well, this code in itself just waits for 1 second and then destroys the object. That's the entire function of this code, is to kill the object after 1 second. And that's it. That's its only purpose, but it does it well. And the brick spawner itself will spawn a brick. Well, this is the brick, so the brick will exist, and then after 1 second, doesn't exist. And that's for making bricks come flying out the wall. You hit the wall, a brick appears, and it disappears. So making code only do one thing, and then you do another bit of code that does another thing, and then you join them together, and you have two things. You make it seem so simple, but if I tried, I would fail so hard. Yeah, just failing's not a bad thing. Failing means you've tried something, it might not have worked out, but you work out why, and you make it work. In the JSON API project of mine, I have some horrendous functions, especially return values. Yeah, the worst thing with coding is if you do something that's quick and dirty and it works and you're not inclined to go back and make it less ambiguous, because it does a thing and awesome and you just build from there. Mostly because I'm lazy, yeah. Like, why change something that's working? And then you have to go and change it because something else needs it to be better, and you go, oh crap, why did I make it this way? This is so confusing. It's so kind of hard to work with if I only did it properly in the first place. And I thought that many times for my own stuff. Now, a lot of this code I'm looking through and go, well, why did I do it that way for? And you go back and you refactor the whole section. Because I like to stack brackets to get stuff from nested lists, which confuses me. Nesting stuff. As that, I know it's kind of fors and against for nesting stuff. Like I personally like breaking out lines, so it looks like there's a lot of lines, but it saves nesting, and I can